I'm Tiffany Johannes, 2023 President of Canopy Realtor Association and Canopy MLS. It is my pleasure to host this edition of the Inside the Canopy Files with a focus on fair housing, along with the opportunity to talk with Karyn Lindsey. In April of 2022, Karyn Lindsey was promoted to Vice President of Education, Diversity, and Inclusion for Canopy Realtor Association. She continues to oversee Canopy Real Estate Institute, the official school of the Canopy Realtor Association, where she had been the director for 19 years, in addition to being Vice President of Education. In her expanded role, she focused on broadening realtor education and professional development and growing the association's diversity and inclusion initiatives, which include leadership development, education, and community outreach. She also works with realtor-led committees to expand member opportunities and cultivate community partnerships for Canopy. She plans Fair Housing Month initiatives along with designing a challenge for realtors to increase their knowledge and strength and their commitment to fair housing in the real estate industry throughout the month of April and every other month, really. The National Association of Realtors recognizes April as Fair Housing Month because on April 11, 1968, President Lyndon Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act of 1968, which was meant as a follow-up to the Civil Rights Act of 1964. The 1968 Act expanded on previous acts and prohibited discrimination concerning the sale, rental, and financing of housing based on race, religion, national origin, sex, and has since been amended to include handicap and family status. Title 8 of the Act is also known as the Fair Housing Act of 1968. Karyn, thanks for being with us today and expanding on this important conversation. Let's start with why you enjoy working on Canopy's DIA initiatives.
Thank you so much, Tiffany. I'm glad to be here today. Working with our members, I think, is the one thing that just brings me so much passion and joy when we talk about our DIA initiatives. Seeing our members get involved, get engaged, and making an impact not just in our organization here at Canopy, but they're making an impact on the industry, whether that be on the local level, the state or national level. It really encourages them to get more involved and really take their leadership skills to the next level. We have really seen a lot of our members who started first volunteering on a committee through our Diversity and Inclusion Alliance move on to important roles here within Canopy Realtor Association and as well as on the state and national level.
Diversity and inclusion actually, especially being the committee chair, it gives me the opportunity to work with individuals that represent us all. And it is actually really a special thing. I was handpicked by the board to take this position this year, and I was honored to do so. And it's special. Diversity and inclusion is a really big conversation right now, and it's only getting louder and louder. And I love that I get to be a part of it.
I think the thing I enjoy about it is, working with our DIA initiatives really allows us to bring different perspectives to the programming that we offer here, whether that be the subject matter in terms of topics for education, identifying diverse speakers. And it has also allowed for a lot of opportunity for us to collaborate with another key part of the Canopy family, which is Canopy Housing Foundation.
That is really true. And back in 2019, Canopy Realtor Association elected its first African-American female president, Brenda Hayden. Brenda has credited Dot Munson, who was president in 2007 and 2008, and whose vision birthed Canopy's Diversity Council and set our association on the course for greater inclusion as a catalyst for her getting involved in leadership. So the initiatives that we've started here at Canopy have really gone a long way in developing our leaders in-house. As we talk about it, can you share a little bit about the association's longtime recognition and commitment to the diversity and inclusion as to how it got started and where it's come to today?
Yes, 2007 was definitely a key year for us where we officially had our first diversity committee, and it was called just that, our diversity committee. And, but some of the groundwork actually started before that. Dot was the president-elect before she was president. So some of these conversations started back in 2006. And we had an opportunity to bring in some of our diverse members who had been involved with Canopy, but we had some very frank conversations with them and say, how can we get more diverse members involved? What can we as an association do? Whether it's, the programs, the education we offer, our committee structure, our elections, what are the things that we can do that more of our members will feel like this is an inclusive environment? So lots of ideas and programs came out of what was our first year of our Diversity Council in 2007, some of which are still in place, but others have grown into other opportunities. And each year, the members that we get involved, that get engaged in our committee, they're just always so creative. It's amazing to see how they click with the organization where they're involved. And they might not just stay involved with diversity, but it leads them to say, well, I'm really interested, or I'm passionate about MLS, or I'm passionate about the foundation. I've kind of got a taste of things now at Canopy. What else can I do? Where else can I get involved? Where else can I make an impact? And, I think the other important thing, I think their involvement helps them be a better realtor. They get to network. They learn from each other. They're plugged into all of our programming and opportunities. That's the one thing we want more of our members to be aware of what we offer here at Canopy. And again, they spread the word back at their office. They tell their fellow agents, hey, there's this great program going on at Canopy. Have you heard about it? It helps us penetrate all the offices, all the members out there that don't always know what Canopy has to offer. So
you guys are doing a great job internally getting the message out to find out what their needs have been and then really reacting and creating the environment that makes a difference in our community.
Yeah, we see examples of it over and over again. Just recently, I met a Canopy member at the state association meetings, and she approached me. She's like, I've always wanted to attend an event at Canopy, but I just wasn't sure, I don't really know anybody. How do I get plugged in? I said, well, the way you get plugged in is you attend, and you're going to be amazed at all the connections you will quickly make. She came to our fair housing kickoff event on Thursday, and at the end of that evening, she said, you were so right. I am so glad I came. She said, I feel like this is my association. So that's what we want to happen. Sometimes it's hard to believe that people don't feel welcome, and sometimes they just want to be asked to be there and participate.
That is very true. To be asked and to know what people need in order to engage is important because everyone has a different perception of how they should engage and how they can be involved. How has the association's initiatives and focus on diversity and inclusion created more opportunity to raise awareness around fair housing?
Our Diversity and Inclusion Alliance really honed in on fair housing, I would say back in 2020, after some of the things that happened in 2020. And then in 2021, the National Association of Realtors planned a fair housing challenge. On a national level, the president challenged all of the leadership. And we said, well, what about if we do that here at Canopy? How can we challenge our members to really strengthen their commitment to fair housing? Look at housing equity, look at discrimination and bias and all those issues. So we started our first challenge in 2021, and we said, what did we want that to be about? We wanted it to be about, education. We wanted it to be about volunteering. We wanted it to be about community. And so the IA just took the lead to get this started. And, it has evolved each year. And this year is the first year where we collaborated even more with other committees to plan some of our programs. So I feel like we're just kind of at the start of what Canopy is going to be doing with regards to Fair Housing Month each year.
That's great. Can you talk a little bit about the importance placed on Fair Housing Month by the National Association of Realtors and the resources offered for local associations to then engage their members?
NAR has developed a fair housing toolkit for associations on their website. So they give all kinds of information and resources, ideas of programs that you can implement. And, it's been very helpful in helping us craft what we want to do for our Fair Housing Challenge. They also plan education events. They have one coming up April 25th. They're doing a Facebook Live education. They're doing an education session on April 26th. And they provide other great resources, whether they be books, podcasts, videos, and so forth. So again, they're trying to provide not just the association and, also the members, all of these tools and resources, especially books and information that can help realtors educate their clients.
Well, I can say I was very proud to have the opportunity to attend Canopy's Fair Housing event to kick off Fair Housing Month. And it was a wonderful event where members had the opportunity to get educated about fair housing, network, and enjoy a cross-section of foods from various cultures. The event was hosted by the Diversity and Inclusion Alliance, Fair and Affordable Housing Advisory Group, and the Young Professionals Network. Later in the podcast, we're going to get to hear from the chairs of the 3 association committees on what fair housing means to them and why it is so important to make the commitment to fair housing for all. But I also wanted to know, Karyn, can you tell us more about the events and how the event came to be?
The idea came from our Diversity and Inclusion Alliance, our new committee. We started off the year talking about, we'll have our Fair Housing Challenge in April. Well, that's good, but how do we really get people's attention? How do we get our members' attention? We need to get our members back in the building. We need to engage more members. And so the idea came from that meeting to host an event. And it's beyond just our Diversity and Inclusion Alliance. What other committees can we collaborate on to really build this event? So as you said, we collaborated with our Young Professionals Network, Fair and Affordable Housing Advisory Group, and we created a small task force and just worked through what we wanted to plan. And the focus was on networking. They really wanted an opportunity to network, education, as well as a cultural experience. And with that, we decided to have food from different cultures, and they wanted members to be able to experience the building. It was exciting to know that we actually had members come to the Canopy building for the first time when they came to that event. We wanted it to be fun. So we did have a fun part. We had a DJ and a 360 booth. And so members got a chance to have fun and see each other in a different way, not all about business.
Well, I can say that the event was really amazing. Then when you saw the food on each of the floors, you tasted the food. Oh my goodness. I'm still thinking about multiple things I had that night, thinking I wish I could have them again now. Then to sit in on the education on ethics and fair housing and what each floor was doing from a style of teaching and sharing information. And to see our members really network and get out there, and they were talking and catching up, and the little groups and people were moving around all night. Mm-hmm. And then that 360 thing that you were talking about with the DJ on the terrace, that was a lot of fun. Charisma and I even got into it.
Oh, yeah, I think I saw that video.
We had a good time. It was fun had by all. And kudos to all of the committee members that put it together and all the staff, because you guys, for the first event that we've had like that, truly did an amazing job and showed how the building can really be used to bring people together.
Well, again, thank you. One of the ideas that came from the task force was we needed to make sure members were truly networking. So we came up with the bingo scavenger hunt game, and we challenged them. I think there were 20 categories of questions they had to answer. They had to find a member who had been, a realtor for 20 years, find somebody who was their first year. Where's the computer lab here in the building? All these different questions. And they had to, actually could hear people talking to each other saying, well, which category do you fit in? Do you speak another language? And just to try to get their boxes checked off. And we collected cards, and there were so many of them completely filled out. We had a fair number of people who actually made donations to the foundation that day. We have fair housing T-shirts that we encouraged our members to wear, but we encouraged the ones that didn't have them to buy them in the store. And I think we sold almost 20 shirts that night. And all of those proceeds go directly to Canopy Housing Foundation, which is real exciting.
That is incredible. And you have an even better, or I'm not going to say better, I'm going to say you have another event that sounds just as fun. And that is the Fair Housing Challenge. Tell us about all the opportunities from education to volunteering where members can plug in and participate this month, Karyn, in our Fair Housing Challenge.
Yeah, well, when we looked at the overall Fair Housing Challenge, we kind of put it into 4 different categories. One being education, which was learning. The other is about connection, which again, networking and finding resources. And then we had volunteering and then nominate. So I'll explain each category. So our connecting, obviously our Fair Housing Kickoff was a big part of that. And then we also in the challenge encourage members to find resources on our website, on NAR's website, as well as the foundation's website that have to do with fair housing. And then when it comes to learning, we actually, right as we speak, there's an NAR bias override class taking place. And this is one of NAR's newest courses. And it is about that, is about overcoming your biases. And we have a national speaker presenting this. I was in the class for a moment earlier, and we had over 100 students in the class. One of the things that we tried to do during Fair Housing Month is not leave the excuse, well, I couldn't afford that class. I mean, basically, Canopy is providing this class for our members at no charge, and they only paying a $10 fee, which is their CE, reporting their CE to the Real Estate Commission. So we're supporting this class and providing it to our members for free. And then we'll have a focus on fair housing elective. That's coming up on April 19th. And again, we have a national speaker. We had, his name is Nate Johnson. We had Nate last year. Students at the end of class were saying that was like the best CE class I ever took. And so we had to have Nate come back. And again, we're trying to provide these resources to our members at an affordable price. So that class is only $30 for a member to get their CE credit and learn more about fair housing. And lastly, we have a Realtor Hot Topic on April 25th with NAR's. She's in charge of fair housing for NAR, and that's Alexia Smuggler. And she's actually the NAR staff that created their Fair Haven, which is the fair housing training that you can take on the NAR website. It's all kind of video game based training. So we have her here speaking about fair housing on April 25th. The last area I would say, volunteer. So Realtors Care Day is a big part of that. So was it our 14th year now for Realtors Care Day? And it's always been in April during Fair Housing Month. And so we've encouraged our members to learn more about fair housing. And even if they're not on a site, they can still donate food for the food drive and participate in other ways. But then they're aware of it for next year. So they can definitely get engaged and volunteer next year if they haven't already. And nominate. This is, again, where we're partnering with the Canopy Housing Foundation. Each year, the foundation awards grants. So this is the time of year to send in your nominations for their grant award program and their Youth in Excellence Service Award. So nominations are due. And so we just try to highlight that as well, because it's all about giving back to the community. The grants go to nonprofits that serve the area of affordable housing or the homeless. Again, we want to just bring light to those programs.
That is incredible. If Canopy members want to find out more information regarding the 2023 Fair Housing Challenge, where should they go?
Well, they can go to canopyrealtors.com, and on the homepage, there's a link that says 2023 Canopy Fair Housing Challenge, and they click there, and there's a page that's interactive that will link them to every program that I just mentioned. So there's a direct way for them to find out how to get involved, how to sign up for a class, a hot topic, how to find a DIA, Diversity in Action webpage, to, fill out a nomination for the grants. All of that is right there for them.
That is really a well-rounded group of events and activities and opportunities for our members.
Well, again, it's always about collaboration here at Canopy. It's great to work with the other departments that help make all this happen, as well, definitely working with the foundation on their programming. And it all, it's all in line with what not just the Diversity and Inclusion Alliance is all about, but also Fair and Affordable Housing Advisory Group.
That is great. And I know I have loved doing the Fair Haven that you noted. That has been eye-opening, and I've run it for multiple groups in our offices. And just to see people walk through that process and answer the questions and be amazed at some of the things that come up along the way and the challenges and how you overcome them and you move forward until you've been certified. And it's a great interactive program. So if members haven't checked that out, they definitely should. And you can start and stop it. So if you don't have enough time, there's no excuse because you can do a minute or two at a time.
Yes, exactly. It's a great program. And, as you said, just talking to members about it, they're like, I was so surprised. I thought I got that right. I learned so much, and I think even if you do it multiple times, each experience can be different. So you can learn something from it each time you do it.
It's amazing, the couples, the families, the groups of people that want to buy a home together, how they come together and the challenges that it gives you that feel like real life.
Exactly. There's talk on the horizon that there is going to be a Fair Housing 2.0, but I'm not sure when that's going to be released. But that's exciting news that it'll be additional education and training available.
That is great. Well, it sounds like we have a well-rounded Fair Housing Month planned here at Canopy, and we look forward to seeing you guys out and about and taking advantage of the opportunities and giving back and volunteering. Thank you for your time, Karyn. We appreciate all you do.
Thank you so much, Tiffany. Thank you for today. It's my pleasure. And I'm really happy that I have an opportunity to work with so many great members and make an impact on the organization with them.
Thank you. I would like to close this episode with 2 invitations to attend our Fair Housing Month Realtor Hot Topic and also to support our food drive in conjunction with Realtors Care Day, also in April. Alexia Smuckler, NAR's Director of Fair Housing Policy and Programs, will be speaking at an in-person Realtor Hot Topic on Tuesday, April 25th from 10 to 11 a.m. at Canopy's headquarters. The event starts at 9:30 a.m. with networking and a light breakfast served. Alexia will help demystify the marketing provisions of the Fair Housing Act. Learn what the law requires and doesn't require, and why you might want to go beyond what is required to create inclusive messages for consumers. This event is free to Canopy members. Go to canopyrealtors.com and look for upcoming events to register. This is Tiffany Johannes, your 2023 Canopy President, with another episode of Inside the Canopy Files. Thanks for listening.